While Piccolo is still keeping up with his training, he realized that he needs to be on Earth more. And last time, that worked out perfectly. All the stuff with Zamasu was a lot easier thanks to Piccolo's help. Even stranger considering he was fighting Piccolo Black. But what's going to happen going forward? We'll be covering all that and more in this part 6 of What If Piccolo Was the Strongest. Following this arc, Piccolo is going to keep a watch on Zamasu from this timeline. They prevented him from doing anything and stopped him before he did something bad. And they want to make sure it stays that way. The thing is too, Piccolo already knew Zamasu before. And although it's not often, they've sparred before too. But you know, it's been kind of a while since he's trained under the Kais. Maybe sparring with the Kai might actually be pretty fun. He's got a lot of great things under his belt now. He has knowledge from so many areas of life that it's really going to help him in fights. But he does want to hone more of what he learned from the Kais, so he actually does visit them occasionally. It's pretty easy when you can just teleport anywhere and win. Zamasu is of course way weaker. But in terms of magical prowess, Zamasu is actually a little bit better. And Piccolo thinks he could learn a bit from that. Not just from him, but all the other Kais that he's around. As a Namekian, he innately does have magical abilities, but he could probably improve them further. He's had a great access to magic already, but it's been kind of sidelined, since he's been training with so many things at once. Although most of his time is spent on Beerus' planet, as well as training with Goku and Vegeta. Both of whom are trying to catch up with Piccolo, although they're also having a rivalry with each other. And the two are actually pretty on par. But on the planet one day, Beerus wants to test everyone's power, and he's not going to fight them. Instead, he wants them to fight each other. The Saiyans say that's not really going to be too fair, Piccolo's going to win by default. Well, they're not fighting 1v1v1, it's going to be a 1v2, Piccolo versus the two Saiyans. Oh, that actually might make it a little bit better, although they're still not really too sure. But this might be a good way to test themselves. A fight begins. Of course, they start off in base, and Piccolo's base is above theirs, so they decide to crank it up a notch, going into Super Saiyan 4. They have a perfect control over this now. Stamina is not too big of an issue with this, and the two Super Saiyan 4s fighting Piccolo together is actually a pretty good challenge. But they're amazed that Piccolo somehow is still able to keep up. He's actually disadvantaged right now, but once he goes into his power awakened state, it turns the tables again. Alright, looks like they're gonna have to crank it up more. And here's something that they haven't really had much practice with, Super Saiyan Blue. They unlocked it way later on, and it is their strongest form right now, but they don't have as much practice with it as normal. So while it has great power, there's still some issues with it. But this is enough to tip the scales once more, and Beerus is surprised to see they're already at their full power, wondering if Piccolo's gonna do the same. The two Saiyans want to see Piccolo's orange form again. They want to see how they stack up against it. In Super Saiyan Blue, they actually are overwhelming Piccolo at the moment. Although, he's not fighting at his full strength. And not just in the sense that he hasn't transformed fully, but he's not using 100% of his power in this form either. And eventually he's pushed to do so. Whis is pretty impressed. Piccolo's able to keep up with both of them at once, and he's not even in his final form. Although, he's not too surprised. Those two Saiyans still have a long way to go with Super Saiyan Blue. Piccolo's been training far longer and has had Godly Ki for far longer as well. And Beerus asked the two of them if they could just fuse already. He knows they probably want to anyways. But Goku and Vegeta wanted to fight alone. They didn't want to rely on fusion here again. They're not opposed to fusion, but they do want to test their own strength. Although Beerus really wants to see it. It's going to make the fight a lot more entertaining. And they ask Piccolo, and Piccolo says it probably would be a good idea. Well, the two of them don't really have a choice, it seems. They've fused a few times for training, and it's pretty routine now. And Piccolo says if they don't want to do the dance anymore, they could use that Potara fusion that the Kais have. He's learned about it already from Zamasu, and looked into it more and found out that it's actually pretty similar. They say maybe sometime later. For now, they're just going to use the dance, since they're pretty familiar with it and know that it'll make for a good fight. So Piccolo stands back as the two perform the fusion dance, powering down before they do so, and fusing into base Gogeta. Now this should be interesting. Beerus is really invested now. Gogeta versus Piccolo is actually a pretty even fight. And Gogeta comments, he's definitely gotten stronger, as well as his two fusees obviously. Before he couldn't hope to match Piccolo like this. And he's not even transformed and he's putting up a great fight here. But they want to push themselves further. And as Piccolo, he can go orange now. They have their own thing up their sleeve. They transform, going into Super Saiyan 4 as Gogeta. Well, Piccolo thinks it kind of makes sense. He's surprised they're not immediately going to God though, but they do want to see how strong they are in Super Saiyan 4 at least. Also because they've never fought a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. It could be interesting. And Beerus watches on in delight as Gogeta assumes a battle stance, with Piccolo powering up, surrounded by those same orange flames as he goes into his orange form. He asks Whis, who does he think has this battle? And Whis honestly doesn't know. Piccolo might be able to pull ahead, but he knows Gogeta has more power. He could go blue at any point. Gogeta does tell Piccolo though, he's in this to win. Obviously his main goal is claiming victory, but he also wants to try and do it without using his full power. So whatever it takes, he'll do that, but he needs to be pushed into that. He tells Piccolo to hold nothing back, especially because if they start using more power, the fusion's not going to last as long. Piccolo launches in, hitting Gogeta with a direct punch. Gogeta's barely able to guard against it, but he feels the pain from it. Piccolo's definitely not playing around. Briefly, he tries to fight while in Super Saiyan 4, but knows that this isn't going to be enough. It's a shame, he did really want to fight like this, but he goes into Super Saiyan God. And Piccolo's surprised. They're not going to use blue right away? Well, Gogeta knows it's going to drain the fusion, and they have a pretty nice workaround. This fight is actually pretty even at first. Full power orange Piccolo with God Gogeta. But Gogeta's definitely pulling ahead. Piccolo's pretty amazed that he doesn't have to use blue yet, but he'll push Gogeta into turning blue. Gogeta's able to land an attack that catches Piccolo off guard, and actually deals a significant amount of damage. Piccolo doesn't know what happened. They were fighting so evenly in God before, and Gogeta didn't transform at all. but he felt a spike in power at the last moment. Gogeta launches into attack once more, and at the very last second, Piccolo sees. He turns blue when he attacks. He flies over in Super Saiyan God, but when he strikes, he transforms. Gogeta says this is a great way to conserve power. He knew Piccolo would pick up on it eventually, and technically he's not fully in blue yet, and he says he could still win this fight without fully using it. And now the tide's completely turned. Gogeta's winning. With the God to Blue technique, he's overwhelming Piccolo completely. His God form already matches Piccolo, but now his attacks, when he attacks in blue, it does significant damage to Piccolo. But Piccolo's not going down easily. And with one final decisive strike, Gogeta completely knocks Piccolo down. It doesn't look like he's getting up, and Gogeta says Piccolo's stronger than he thought, but is proud that he's starting to catch up to Piccolo. He turns over to Beerus about to say something. Piccolo says he's not done yet, and he looks back. Piccolo's on the ground. He's not an orange anymore. He de-transformed right after that final blow, and Beerus yells out at Gogeta. This fight isn't over until he completely knocks Piccolo out. Alright, well, Gogeta thinks this will be easy enough. Piccolo weakly stands up. Gogeta doesn't even go God to Blue. He takes a stance ready to launch right towards Piccolo, flinging himself forward with his leg out, about to land a direct kick. But right as the kick is about to connect, Gogeta sees a flash of light, and Piccolo disappears. Gogeta sticks the landing nearby, and sees Piccolo standing in that same spot. Interesting. He didn't think Piccolo would have enough speed in his base to dodge, but he notices something strange. Piccolo doesn't seem to be in his base form. It looks like it at first, but then a weird aura flares up around him. Beerus perks up, and Whis actually does too. Piccolo slowly turns towards Gogeta, and Gogeta sees now that Piccolo's eyes look a little different. That intense aura is completely surrounding him. Piccolo says nothing, just staring at Gogeta. Gogeta goes in for another attack, trying to hit Piccolo with a flurry of punches and kicks, but nothing works. He dodges all of them, effortlessly, and as he keeps throwing those punches, Piccolo grabs one of his fists and then the other fist, holding Gogeta midair and staring him down. He only says two words, "Go Blue." Gogeta's actually kind of scared. What is this? He's never seen Piccolo use this power before, and Beerus can't believe what he's seeing. This can't be what he thinks he is, right? Whis thinks it actually is, and Whis shouts to Gogeta. He might actually want to go blue. Piccolo disappears from Gogeta's sight once more, and quickly, Gogeta does go blue, turning himself around as he blocks an attack from Piccolo. He was barely fast enough to block it and sense it, but Piccolo starts attacking at a rapid pace. What is this? Gogeta tries to fight back, but even in blue he can't. And at this rate, he's going to run out of the fusion. He's using a form he doesn't have much control on, and it's draining his power greatly. He'll put all his power into one attack. That'll do it. He swipes a hand in front of him, creating a small barrier, and in his other hand he starts charging Ki, but he doesn't even have a chance to charge it. Piccolo punches right through the barrier effortlessly, and then Gogeta's frozen in place. Piccolo paralyzes him with magic simply by glaring at him. He jumps up high in the air, and then rockets down towards Gogeta. Right before Piccolo connects with him, Gogeta breaks free of the paralysis, seemingly dodging Piccolo's attack, but Piccolo quickly throws a hand out, launching a Ki blast that flings him right towards Gogeta, instantly pivoting even with Gogeta dodging. He kicks him directly in the face, knocking Gogeta out, with the fusion defusing right after. And Beerus says there's no doubt about it. That's Ultra Instinct. This is what Whis has been training him for. And Whis is delighted. They immediately have to start training with this even further. And Piccolo didn't even realize that he got this. And he was able to control it decently well, actually. He always wondered what kind of technique he'd unlock here. Maybe something from Beerus, maybe something from Whis, but it seems like it's going to be the latter. It does fit all of his previous training after all. Those destructive powers of Beerus might suit him kinda, but this one suits him better. And Whis is very glad that Piccolo's been able to pick up on it. Although, those abilities from Beerus still do intrigue Piccolo, but now he's going to focus completely on this, going down this new path towards Ultra Instinct. Goku and Vegeta wake up. They can't even believe what they just witnessed. Of course, once again, Piccolo left them completely in the dust. They'll pull ahead eventually, but they have no clue how he even did that. Soon enough, we have the Tournament of Power as well. And Universe 7's team is looking pretty stacked, mainly because Piccolo's there. He's the strongest fighter on the team by a long shot, and he's a great support. The magic that he has will be very helpful in fights, not just for himself, but assisting others as well. As for the team, it's mostly the same. 17, 18, and Frieza are replaced by Yamcha, Goten, and Trunks, but everyone else is pretty much exactly the same. But now let's cover the actual tournament. Universe 7 is confident. Goku and Vegeta especially are. They know Piccolo's probably going to win it for them, but this is a great opportunity to test out their strength. Goku actually almost goes up to fight Jiren, but Piccolo tells Goku it could be very risky. Let him test Jiren's power first. And Goku's kind of bummed, but okay. Piccolo's the leader here actually. And with his great strength, they trust his judgment and follow it. It's like I mentioned way before in the beginning of the series. Piccolo being the strongest isn't just going to affect his strength, it's going to affect how everybody around him operates. Now, that's a big change in this tournament. In the original tournament, Gohan led the team, but half the team didn't listen to him, and just went with their own strategy. They're actually going to listen to Piccolo here though. His judgment has saved them so many times before, and with his great strength and wisdom, they view it very highly. Everyone on the team listens to what he says. Piccolo's plan was to have everybody fight with somebody else. Sticking together is the best bet. Piccolo himself is going to fight alone, but for example, Gohan's going to fight with Goten and Trunks. The humans are all going to stick together, and Goku and Vegeta are just going to fight together. That way everyone will be able to assist each other. And in the event that someone does get knocked out of the ring, well, Piccolo has more than enough ways to actually get them back in. And he's going to pace himself, ready to test out Jiren's power. The two begin brawling, and much to Jiren's surprise, Piccolo's actually somewhat of a challenge. At first at his base, Jiren can kind of fend him off, but he does have to get a little bit serious about it. It's not like Goku versus Jiren. Jiren is actually fighting back here, and Piccolo commends him. This guy really is strong and he might actually be his first challenge in a while. It'll be an honor to fight him, and Jiren tells Piccolo to not get too ahead of himself. This will not be an easy match. Piccolo goes into his power awakened state, and the two continue brawling. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the ring, the hybrid Saiyans face the Pride Troopers. Gohan actually kind of admires them because they're all superheroes, and they have pretty cool poses too. But they eliminate most of the Pride Troopers very quickly, which surprises them. Universe 11 is actually pretty strong, and this only leaves Toppo and Dispo left, which might actually be a good challenge for the hybrids, although Goten and Trunks fuse immediately, going right into a mastered Super Saiyan 3. And Gohan's glad they're taking this seriously. These two actually seem pretty tough. He goes into Super Saiyan 4, but quickly comes to realize that it might not be enough, even with Gotenks on his side. The good thing is Toppo and Dispo aren't at their full power yet. Toppo is actually not going to bring out his God of Destruction mode. And Gohan kind of is holding something back, but he knows as a key to victory here, he's going to need to use it, as much as he would love to pace himself. He says these two are going to be the first to witness his brand new power. He's continued practicing with Super Saiyan 4, and has gone beyond it. Since it is Super Saiyan with Great Ape, he thought to himself, can't he just do the same with Super Saiyan 2? And he figured out a way to ascend. He powers up while in Super Saiyan 4. His aura morphs into something else, and red lightning strikes around him. His hair slightly spikes up. His fur gets a little bit of a different tint, but otherwise it looks really similar to Super Saiyan 4. And Gotenks looks on in amazement. He didn't even know that Gohan had this, and he's kind of annoyed that he stole the spotlight again. He tells Gohan he'll get that Super Saiyan 4 form someday, but Gohan says that's not what this is. This is a new state beyond it. He just simply calls it Super Saiyan 5. They make quick work of Toppo and Dispo, and Goku and Vegeta could sense this from across the ring, looking over and then seeing Gohan. That's awesome! He ascended Super Saiyan 4? Well, it's definitely not as strong as their god forms, but with Gohan's great potential, it's still very impressive. They love it. Maybe they'll have to look at Super Saiyan 5 someday. Although, they can't focus on it for too long. Right now they're facing the Universe 6 Saiyans, and it's not really too big of a deal. Kale is a threat at this point, especially when she does go berserk, so they focus on getting rid of her. They would enjoy fighting her just solo, but they can't. She clearly can't control her power, and that makes her a huge threat. And with their combined strength, they're able to land a finishing blow that sends her flying outside the ring, while also fending off Cabba and Caulifla. But at the last moment, Cabba's able to save Kale, kicking her back into the ring, which propels himself outside of the ring too, since she was already so far out. Goku and Vegeta are surprised at how resilient these two are, and Caulifla says they're not done yet. She places an earring on, and Goku and Vegeta recognize that. That's the thing that Piccolo mentioned, right? She places one on the almost unconscious Kale too, with the two of them fusing into Kefla. Oh great, now they have to fight a fusion. How is that even allowed? Those are items. Well, Zeno rules it as fair because he likes it. He thinks it's cool. And Goku and Vegeta are a bit bummed because now they're actually being overpowered by Kefla, especially when she transforms. Damn it, they wanted to fight alone, but they might actually have to fuse into Gogeta this time. Although with Kefla there, doing the dance is going to be a little bit hard. But Shin yells out to Goku, throwing earrings at him as well. The other gods get pissed and say this is cheating. But Zeno said it's already fine, and he does approve it. Kefla aims to get rid of them before they can fuse. And Vegeta really wants to fight alone. Why do they have to fuse in every battle they're in? He's not opposed to fusion, but here, he wanted to test his own power out. And Goku says it's a bummer too, but they don't really have a choice. They each place the Potara earring on, creating a brand new fusion. At the last second, Kefla's attack is blocked by a new fighter. And the man's surprised. Wow, he has different clothes. And he feels like a different person too. So this isn't Gogeta, this is someone completely different. Well, why don't they call this fusion Vegito instead? And he'll be able to fight without transforming here. As this all goes on, Piccolo's fight with Jiren continues. Piccolo could sense Vegito fusing, and he easily defeats Kefla, with Vegito beginning to go after everyone else, cleaning up all the other fighters. He tells Piccolo to focus on that Jiren guy. All of their team is still in the ring, and with Vegito and Gohan's help, they could pretty much clean up everybody else. Jiren tells Piccolo he admires his strength, but it won't be enough. The two continue powering up. Jiren says while Piccolo's strong, he doesn't have a full focus on raw power like him. He's weak, and he still relies on others for his help, but Piccolo says it's the opposite. That's what made him strong, relying on others. Or rather, the desire to protect others and have them rely on him. That's what pushed him this far. Jiren bulks up considerably as his aura flares up too. He tells Piccolo no matter how he slices it, it won't be enough. And the two of them grab each other's hands, starting to wrestle, as Piccolo then begins bulking up himself, with his own fiery aura surrounding him as he turns orange. And Piccolo says Jiren should face the facts. He's stronger, and he got there for those reasons. The same reasons Jiren looks down upon. For a guy so focused on strength, he's surprised he hasn't tried this yet. He's so solitary. He can grow stronger working with others. He is supposed to be a hero after all, and he learns of Jiren's past as well, and how Jiren was molded into this person that he is now. But Piccolo thinks Jiren needs to grow past that. His past doesn't define him, even if that's what he's used to. He can't keep this solitude up. He'll grow stronger by putting his trust in others as well. Look at Piccolo. His upbringing doesn't define him. He was a completely different person. Actually, a terrible guy, and now he views himself as a de facto guardian of Earth. Actually, no. He proclaims that he's the guardian of Universe 7. He'll protect this universe at any cost. It's his priority. He'll win here, and he'll make that wish. It's not gonna go to someone selfish like Jiren. If Jiren can't see the flaw in his principles, Piccolo's gonna make sure he loses. Those Dragon Balls, they're a divine gift, something that they can't toy with. And something pretty amazing happens to Jiren. He sees that Piccolo's actually overpowering him, and Piccolo's not using his full strength. So he asks Piccolo, don't patronize him, show his full power. Prove him wrong, show him that true power then. And the two stop clashing. Piccolo detransforms, no longer in orange. Jiren's left confused, but a weird aura flares up around Piccolo. The gods all look on in complete awe, with Beerus and Whis proudly looking on. Piccolo closes his eyes and then opens them, now having that same grayish glow. He tells Jiren these are the fruits of his training, and this is what he'll use to defend the universe. And with one simple attack from Ultra Instinct Omen, Jiren is flung completely out of the ring. But as he's almost eliminated, he thinks to himself, Piccolo was still holding back. What an interesting guy. Piccolo then blitzes whoever's left in the ring, even surprising Vegeta with his speed. And with that, Universe 7 wins. And they're not actually sure who to name MVP. But with Piccolo having one of the most important eliminations, and getting some early in the tournament and later on, as well as being the leader, he ends up getting it. Making a simple wish. Restore every other universe. Maybe one day again, he'll see Jiren, and maybe he'll learn the flaws in his ways. Jiren's clearly not a bad guy, not at all. He's just going down the wrong path. And with him brought back in Universe 11, he reflects on this. Piccolo's definition of strength got him to a new level of power that even Jiren couldn't match. He can't believe it, and he smirks. One day, he'll see Piccolo again. And this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? And what's gonna happen next time? Let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.